I finally figured out what happened to Glamrock Bonnie thanks to the Ruin DLC, although it might not be as obvious as you think. One of the biggest questions we all have with not only the Ruin DLC, but with Security Breach as a whole is what happened to Bonnie, and why is he missing? He is the bass player in the Glamrock band, so it's pretty clear he was a big part of the Pizzaplex at one point. So what happened? Okay, so thanks to Ruin, we got some pretty massive clues about his disappearance. As you played through the DLC, I'm sure you noticed all of the cleaning bots scattered around what's left of the Pizzaplex. As we go up to them, we are able to deactivate them, which is kinda weird, right? But these cleaning bots are what aid us in finding Bonnie. As we find ourselves exploring Bonnie Bowl, if we deactivated all of the cleaning bots, we will find the last one here. As we deactivate it, a hidden path will open behind the bowling lanes. And if we follow the path, Cassie will enter a room finding 4 cleaning bots and Bonnie laying face up, torn apart with a massive hole in his chest, his head, and motionless. You'll notice Bonnie's eyes are still lit up, suggesting that he's still alive, as if he's holding on to his final thread. His eyes glow yellow, which are very similar to all of the cleaning bots that we've deactivated, and I have a theory for this in a later video. But once we deactivate these final 4 cleaning bots, the light in Bonnie's eyes will fade to black as Bonnie becomes lifeless. He is now dead. So how did he die? Well, clearly he was murdered, but by who and why? Well, let's take a closer look at Bonnie. Besides the obvious scratch marks, what else can we see? There is green paint on his chest. So who else is green? That would be Monty. So it seems that Monty is our #1 suspect here, right? Or is he? So how would he have killed Bonnie? Well, to start, let's turn to the logs that we find in Security Breach. The first one being this one called Missing. It tells us at 12:24 a.m. Bonnie is seen leaving his green room in Rockstar Row heading east towards the atrium. Then at 2:40 a.m. Bonnie enters the East Arcade, and at 4:12 a.m. Bonnie is last seen entering Monty Golf. This means on the night of Bonnie's disappearance, his last known location was in Monty Golf. Now to add to that, the attack seems to be lined up perfectly with Monty's skill set. Bonnie's chest had been ripped to pieces by sharp claws, as his killer was clearly very powerful, also violently smashing his head wide open with a bowling ball. Now keep that in mind because it's important later on. We also know Monty is very off the walls. We can see this at the beginning of Security Breach. As we walk by his dressing room, you can hear him going crazy, and well, obviously just the way he acts in Security Breach. So to answer how he did it, Monty tore Bonnie's chest apart with his claws and smashed his head with a bowling ball, and then left the murder weapon there. That's also important. So this leaves us with the question of why. Why would Monty kill Bonnie? Well, it's important to include that Monty always seemed to be jealous of Bonnie's spot in the band. So Monty killed Bonnie in order to cement his spot in the Glamrock band. Now to further prove this, while Cassie is on the gondola ride, we see the stages of Monty's rise to stardom via various dioramas. During the ride, we see a young Monty Gator playing the bass guitar in his one-man jug band. Try to say that 10 times fast. And we can see while Monty is looking up to the star, it's clear he wants to be a star on the big stage. In another diorama, we see what appears to be a passing of the torch. Bonnie is gifting Monty his electric bass guitar, seemingly retiring from the Glamrock band, allowing Monty to be the new bass player. But do you notice how we don't see Bonnie's full body? Only his arm? That's kind of weird, right? Obviously we know it's Bonnie, so why not show his whole body? This is because that cutout of Bonnie was never supposed to be used like this. From there, Roxy gives Monty a new haircut, and he even steals Bonnie's glasses and becomes the Glamrock Monty we first met in Security Breach. So why did Monty kill Bonnie? He was jealous of him and murdered him in order to take his spot in the band, leading to Monty getting what he wanted and becoming a star. Now wait a minute, if Bonnie was last seen in Gator Golf, why would his body be found in Bonnie Bowl? And did Monty even have claws while Bonnie was alive? Well, to answer that question, technically yes, but I don't think Bonnie was killed in Bonnie Bowl. Bonnie was killed somewhere in Monty Golf. After a fit of rage from Monty, either from pure jealousy and or some kind of argument, once he realized he was alone with Bonnie, he attacked, tearing Bonnie apart. After realizing what he had just done, he then brought Bonnie's almost dead body back to Bonnie Bowl where we found him. To then make it look more like Bonnie was killed there, Monty took a bowling ball and smashed it on his head, leaving the bowling ball there to make it seem even more like he was killed there in Bonnie Bowl. They would never suspect Monty if the murder happened in Bonnie Bowl, right? Well, Monty might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, considering the evidence he left on Bonnie, But anyways, now wouldn't the security cameras have at least seen Monty dragging a half-dead Bonnie across the pizzaplex? Well, yes. On one hand, considering these animatronics are very good at manipulating things, there's no surprise that the footage might have gone missing. Although this leads to what I think are two possibilities as to what really happened and why things are so confusing. The first being that the pizzaplex aided Monty in covering up his murder. After they saw Monty kill Bonnie on the security cameras, they fabricated a story that made Bonnie retire and pass the torch onto Monty. This makes sense to paint Monty as an aspiring, hopeful star that finally got his chance to rise to stardom, instead of letting out the fact that he's a murderous monster that killed his friend over jealousy. No one would want to come to the pizzaplex because of this, and they would have to shut down their business. We see in another log that states, with Bonnie out of commission, we are making Monty the new bass player. Parts and Services has already done proper adjustments. This could be a good thing. Monty could be even more popular than Bonnie. This means they knew Bonnie was dead. Saying this could be a good thing and how Monty could be more popular was a way to get the other employees into thinking Monty is better anyways, so don't worry about what happened to Bonnie, further proving their involvement to cover it up. The other scenario is that Fazbear Entertainment was the ones that actually killed Bonnie and just framed it on Monty. If you find it far-fetched that Monty could have killed Bonnie, dragged his body across the pizzaplex, and staged a murder, then it's possible the pizzaplex were the ones that staged it. Monty didn't have his upgraded claws at the time of Bonnie's death. The higher-ups at the pizzaplex could have killed Bonnie in Bonnie Bowl with a bowling ball to his head, then scratched and tore his torso apart and threw some green paint on it to make it look like it was Monty. Considering in Security Breach, it doesn't really look like Monty had lost any paint. But why would they do this? Like I just mentioned, if word got out, they would lose the business. Maybe there's a bigger plan in motion that we just don't know about yet. I'm not really sure. With that being said, I do think that the first scenario is the more likely one. Monty turned into a murderer, and Fazbear Entertainment had to cover it up with a fabricated story in order to save their business. But what do you guys think? Is Monty a killer, or is there something that we are still missing here? I guess we will have to wait until the next DLC to find out more answers. Thanks for watching.